People, deluded. I'm back again. Now, I, for one, could not see Arsenal winning 5-1 against Manchester City. It's deadline day. I had to get Zar here. We say, my dude, man. It's been a decent weekend from a
Yeah,
footballing point.
yeah. I mean, a lot of highs on yesterday. A lot of highs yesterday. Then reality sets back in today. But man, I mean, what a game it was. I mean, I said 2-1. I don't think anybody would have predicted that we scored five, but we did.
We did, bro, and it still hasn't sunk in. As you kind of said, it's back to reality. It's a good result in isolation. It's a good day for the fans. We saw the antics, but then our season is still mathematically it's not over. It's not as negative as I think we make out. That being said, there's evident issues. We're running the deadline day short. We still ain't got players. Probably seen Tell's going to Spurs, but we'll get into all of that, man. Let's stick with the positives. Let's stick with Arsenal from a footballing point of view, man. As you said, yeah. Nobody expected us to, even if you expected us to win, because City are not where they used to be, but nobody could see 5-1 on the cards, man. So
Yeah.
where are you at? Talk me through everything, man, with the game and whatnot.
Bro, the game, right? So on the game, this might sound crazy, but I actually think, granted, we didn't score as many goals in the first half. I actually think we played way better in the first half than we did in the second. The second half was full of goals, yep, but the football, the manner in which we were playing,
You smell blood.
right off the bat in the first half, bro, is what I've been asking for, man. Martin Odegaard, where has he been this entire season? All of a sudden, he decides to show up and actually give a captain's performance for the first game, for the first time this entire season, bro, that he's actually shown up. I mean, I've been on his case, been like, yo, this guy is the club captain, but doesn't show. Bro, his press, he led that press like an absolute madman. Absolute madman. That for the first goal that he scored, I mean, was the press between him and who's the one that pressed the ball? I think it was Rice that pressed the ball.
Rice, Trossard, they all like the whole of the front
Yeah,
four, really and
yeah,
truly, man.
gave it into Havertz. Havertz didn't shoot, squared it to Odegaard, boom. And then the Havertz chance, that's the one where Rice is the one that got the tackle. But the actual initial press and the energy was from Martin Odegaard. That guy was running around everywhere. Everywhere running around. Havertz got the chance. That's probably the only downside to the game yesterday. I mean, I myself will not make. I don't make too much of it. I mean, we ended up winning and all. I know the Havertz is a lot of haters online and all, so they're looking for literally anything and everything. We need this guy. He's the one that's up front. Support him. Yes, I also. I mean, I'm not saying don't get angry. I got angry when he missed. I mean, I saw. I thought that was doomsday when he missed. I thought that was it. That was the moment.
Should we still be getting angry though? And because on one hand, end of the day, he is a professional footballer. Like you said, I do think on one hand you can be critical of Havertz and the fact that he's leading the line, but also, give him your support. But should we be angry because, bro, we've been here, like we're here every week now.
Yeah, nah. Listen, he's a good player, right? He's a good player. The problem is he's not what people want him to be. And I think we speak from a desperate point of view, right? We speak from a desperate point of view. The fact that we haven't won a title in 20 something years, and we feel like we're so close with this squad. So you get very desperate, which means that you lash out, you magnify things. One thing happens, it's a bigger disaster than it actually is.
Fact.
Something happens, it's a bigger victory than it actually is. So anything and everything that Kai Havertz does, because of the fact that it was seen as our season with City falling off, but then Liverpool's doing the mad thing and all that. And now we're in a position where we're usually up ahead in these races. We're usually up ahead and we fall behind. Now we're in an instance where we're chasing, and bro, when you're chasing, there's no margin for error. At least when you're being chased, you can say, all right, we dropped these 3 points, we're still 3 points ahead, kind of thing. So
Fact.
factors like that are playing into people's patience, and I also include myself in that. When I'm in the heat of the moment during the actual game. If you watch a live stream, I'm screaming and all that, but once it settles and I get a time to think, and I'm like, dude, in the grand scheme of things, this guy is actually, he's done fantastic. I mean, he's what I'll probably put three or so, three strikers this season in the Premier League, three or so strikers ahead of him this season in the Premier League. Now, is that good enough? So that's good, but is that good enough for what us Arsenal fans want, what our goals as a club is? That's a completely different question. But yeah, so that chance was frustrating, bro. And then that first half, Martinelli was very, very unfortunate. Odegaard put him through. That finish was neat. The offside one, I don't know if I wish he just didn't streak.
Martinelli's still offside, man.
Yeah, but that finish was awesome. That
He
finish was
deserved the luck, a bit of luck there.
but we kept on kicking. We kept on kicking. And then 1-0 in that first half, when we needed him, he showed up. I said on Twitter, and I think I still do stand by this. I mean, who else played well? Odegaard played well, Partey played well, but my man
Whole world, man. Everybody. We're
David
gonna get into some individuals, man, but let's keep going, man.
David Raya, yeah, no, David Raya in the
Big
40
saves, especially one in
two,
particular, because that
two,
changes things.
two in the 40 something minute. It's the timing of the saves when in the game that happened. That was right before halftime when he pulled off. I forgot which one was first. The Guardiola, was it the Guardiola thing or the Bernardo Silva? I forgot which one was
I think
first.
it was the Guardiola one,
But I forgot what order which one was first. But the Guardiola thing, Guardiola gets down the left side, bro. Those crosses that he whips in, phenomenal. Because Skelly was cooked on the back post. Skelly was absolutely cooked on the back post. Raya comes in. Raya, I mean, he's been doing that his entire time at Arsenal. When he started with us, it made me nervous that he's very, very, when it comes to when the ball is coming from the flanks, he's very aggressive, very good at grabbing
very proactive.
crosses. He's very proactive in that sense, and his positioning when they're out wide is very aggressive. And because of that, that's how he was able to get his hand on the ball. Then also the what's it called? The So that was the Bernardo one, and then the one from the one where Haaland almost even got the rebound on the post. So two key saves. Second half we came out, and that's when we started scoring. Skelly pops in, wonderful goal for the guy. I mean, it's Hayland, bro. It's
Not one, but
crazy how
two of them. Ethan off the bench with a sizzler, two sizzlers in a week.
Ethan. I was screaming Havertz. I was screaming, why are you on Havertz's goal? I was screaming, why the hell are you running behind Martinelli? Because he was in the center forward slot, and then he looped up to go lap around. I'm like, dude, just stay in the center forward channel. He looped around. Martinelli gave him the ball. He scored 5, and it was a good day, bro. It was a good day. David Raya, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, another very good, solid. Our midfield, very good, very, 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 very good. Our midfield three was phenomenal that
What
game.
we need them to be, man. Partey
Absolutely
rolled back the
amazing.
years. Odegaard, as you said earlier, Bosti, Declan Rice. Arsenal fans never let them gaslight you into not rating Declan Rice, man to a man. Like, and I'm sure you would agree. Yeah, in this current climate, whether we've won, lost, or drawn, I feel like it's been Ethan and Lewis Skelly, more the younger players that were like, "Oh, you lot get it. You lot are acting like what we want to see from the
Yeah.
fans." Yesterday was an exception in that everyone stood up to be counted. Lewis Skelly and Ethan are no different, but I saw more significant players doing what they needed to do. I want to stick on Lewis Skelly for a sec. Yeah, obviously
Mhm.
he's having a great season on and off the field. I mean, the man was booked before he obviously even kicked a ball. I feel like it was a kind of like a full circle moment for two reasons. In that's probably where he announced himself. He had Haaland doing the who is he stuff. You obviously
Yep.
saw him do the celebration. And I remember in the FA Youth Cup, Lewis Skelly actually scored at the Emirates against City. So I think it was good for him. Obviously, he got his first goal, yeah. But there's two things I want to ask before I get into the obvious. I'm sure you've spoken about the whole shithousery stuff, yeah. A lot of Arsenal fans, he's played 10, 11 games in the Prem, and naturally, there's Ashley Cole shouts. Like, do you think it's too premature? Do you think he could be the next Ashley Cole? Should he get the number 3 shirt next season?
Listen, he's doing phenomenal. He's doing very, very, very well in that left back slot. Naturally, as you alluded to, him coming through Haaland, he played in the middle, in central midfield. Is his long term future at left back? I don't know. I don't foresee that. I think that was just more of a these guys, especially Lewis Skelly. I know Nwaneri is the one that we had contract problems with, so we had to get him. We had to somewhat like fast line him into the first team. But it's Lewis Skelly really got his opportunity and was fast lined more because of what happened in and around. I think in a perfect world, he does not even break through in the Arsenal team on at left back. I think he actually breaks through if it
in
wasn't
the
for the
middle of the
injury.
park.
All that, I think he actually it would have taken more time. He definitely would not have been in the first team this year. He probably would have been playing. He played maybe one or featured in the League Cup and all that, and then maybe looked for a loan the second half of January or something like that. But he was he streamlined, and that's what happens in football sometimes. Now we're here now today. There's no going back. He is now a first team player. He's now an Arsenal first team player. So whether we use him in our first team, if we don't use him in our first team, someone's going to come get him to use him. So where is his long-term future? I was actually thinking more of the Partey number 5, him getting the Partey number 5. I know the number 3 is freeing up with Tierney at the end of the season. It's looking like the Partey number 5
Hopefully, Ethan gets to number 10, man. If I'm
is going
honest,
to be freeing up. The number 10 is free. The number 14 is free. I think
Isaac, if you're listening,
is exactly. I think Ethan should get the number 10. And yeah, whether he wants the 3 or 5, bro, they've shown it. We need these guys. I mean, the homegrown rules. What we need eight or 9 homegrown guys in our squad.
Raya counts. Lewis Skelly and Ethan actually don't need to be registered, but at this moment in time, the guys that be eligible, I think Martinelli counts, Saliba counts, Saka obviously counts, Ben White counts, Declan Rice counts, De Haaland. We got a lot. I think even Raya, if I said that already, Raya counts. So yeah, man, we definitely need that. And you're right, man. We need homegrown players. Listen, we've got a small squad, and they're doing their thing. Where do I see him? You know what? It's a weird one. It's a weird
I mean,
one.
on that, I mean, did you see how he glides through that midfield, bro? He takes the ball and he runs through. It's like he's like a miniature. Okay, let me not get too.
He's like Musa Dembele
Fuck
or
it, I'm gonna get
mention
gas.
the
Yeah, I
North
was
London
gonna
guy
say
we played for.
it's like a miniature Musa Dembele, a miniature, not so much Yaya Toure, but he drives through the center of the park, bro.
I mean, if there was one thing I love about him, it's his confidence, and I think he's got that healthy arrogance. Like he believes he's meant to be here. Obviously, he's a bit of a shithouse of what we like. He's relished in the opportunities. I mean, it's he's basically playing midfield anyways. It's that grace that he plays with. He's clearly intelligent, or Arteta's not going to play you there. Honestly, I do think I'm with you. I think his future's in midfield, but you just never know because he could really make that left back spot his own or really have something. I don't know if he's going to go and do the Saka thing where Saka initially was a fullback and we know where he plays now. But I'm happy to have the conversation, man. And I don't know how much he saved us because his stock is always rising and Ethan for that. But I'm proud of them. Where do you stand on the whole antics? Because for me, in general, I like it. I like the Haaland. I like the stuff, even though I don't like it against my team. I love the whole Haaland stuff at the Etihad. Stay humble. Likewise, I like the fact that we're all on it. I love the Gabriel versus Haaland stuff. I love the Lewis Skelly stuff. Of course, when it happens against your team, you do have sour grapes. But they say football has lost its spark and it's not got the same sort of rivalry. I like that. And this City star Arsenal stuff, for a variety of reasons, for a number of few years now, it's been boiling over. I remember when we used to play City, be competitive. They'd win, they'd pat us on the back. Now that we started getting results over them, you're seeing the language around them change. Obviously, I remember Nicholas Hover and Carl Walker having a bit of a bust up. I personally think not necessarily Pep, but Manchester City and Arteta got something with how Arteta left. So yeah, where do you stand on it? Where do you stand on him doing the celebration? Where do you stand on his dad doing Twitter fingers? Big Bruckhouse man doing Twitter fingers, man. There's been a lot. He was doing Twitter fingers. Gary Neville even said he doesn't like the fact Gary Neville said the fact that he doesn't like Gabriel shouting in Haaland's face. Bearing in mind, you played for United. That's because Gary Neville knew that he was a pussy-o and he could run behind Roy Keane and Rio and all of these players. But where do you stand on all of that?
Listen, it's part of the game. It's part of the sport. When I'm I was in that gambling cave watching with my friends. Each time a goal got in, I jumped up and I screamed in his face. That's what happens. That's what should be happening. I need more of that. I want more of that. Where now? I mean, I'm not really buying too much into it, but of course I've seen it online. What I don't agree with is this whole notion that all of a sudden the narrative has changed has changed. Where when Haaland did that to
It's
Gabriel,
a
when
color
Haaland did
thing,
that to
as so
Gabriel,
Campbell would say.
everybody was laughing, and everybody was loving it and all
And
that,
it's
and all of a
and
sudden,
when he threw the ball.
yeah, when he hit
Haaland
the
can
when he
throw a ball at someone and disrespect a manager, but Lord forgive if Lewis Skelly, who's he scored his first goal, does that. Okay, cool. It's
or
either no one does
Gabriel
it or everyone does it.
or Gabriel celebrates in his face. They're like,
Yeah,
oh,
nonsense.
Arsenal celebrating like I won the title. So that's what the double standards is not what I mean, I'm not about it, but
We're Arsenal, we're gonna
bro,
have to deal with it, man.
we need that. We honestly need that. We were just we used to get dragged, just bullied, just how defeating it was to
And
be told,
they condemned us. That's a great point, Zar, because they said that was the issue.
yeah,
When we was getting dealt with and we were soft, they said we're too soft, we ain't got no cojones,
yeah.
we're scared. Now we're not, we can't win. That's why I don't listen to the outside, because you make yourself mad.
It's like I'm at school trying to argue with my friends, and they just tell me this weekend, oh, you're soft, you're playing Stoke, you're going to lose because you're just going to be bullied. And I'm like, no, I mean, these guys are going to defend me or trying to think. And then long behold, we just go there, we roll over, and we're just getting laughed at. It just used to get absolutely embarrassed every single time. And now, actually, we have players with backbones, that can actually stand up in physical confrontations and do stuff. It feels good. It honestly does
Do we
feel
have enough
good
of
that
them?
we've got fighters. Do we
Because I know
have enough?
yesterday everyone showed fight, but like if it came to it, like there's probably about five, I think, six. Do we have enough in your opinion?
You know what? I honestly think we do. I honestly think we do. I think we do. I think there's more than that. My issue is they pick and choose. I don't know what it is. I think it may be psychological. They pick and choose when they show up, right? So they show up for this game. They show up for this game. They maybe it's because of the circumstances and all that, but previous games, it will take the previous games that we weren't able to do much with. You take a look at our drawers, you'll see that all right, maybe at the beginning of the game, look at how we started this game and compare it to other games. Maybe at the other beginning of the games, we're jogging around, not being
And there was
serious
a
and all
reason to
that
kind of be
nonsense.
up for this, beyond the fact that it's City and it's a must win and we're trying to keep
Exactly.
pace with Liverpool. There's the bad blood. But you said it there, yeah. That's why I asked you, because you said this some kind of turn it on and off. If you turn it on and off, are you really with that? Because I would say Lewis Skelly showed me, regardless, he's with it. We can criticize Havertz for his ability. I think he's a shithouser. Ben White's one of them. Saliba's one of them. Gabriel's one of them. Timber's one of them. There's probably like did I say Gabriel? There's probably like one more,
Yeah.
two more that I've said, but that's about 7, 8. There's 11
Yeah.
out there. There's a 90-man squad. So do we really have enough then?
And that's the thing is that's the thing is, do we get those guys? Do we have enough? And also, how do we get those guys to show up like that every single time,
Because
bro?
we
Because
shouldn't be shocked by that.
it should be like that. That's how we should start games every single time. And then once maybe the game, you're up 2-3-0 on a good day, that's when you lower it. Not you start off, oh, within your shells, let's conserve, and then, oh shit, we're 1-0 down, deluded. Let's now try get that dog fight in us to try bro, the game's gone already by then. So start off right off the bat. And it's I don't know if it's Arteta, I don't know what he says before games and all. It's on Arteta. That's on the manager to figure out how you force that out of your players every single game. You need to keep them dialed in. You need to keep them focused. And that's honestly how we should be starting all our games.
Let me be devil's advocate then, yeah, because for what it's worth, I think you're right. The manager has to do that. But I do think in the last 2-3 years, including now, we've kind of improved dramatically in that. At what point is it for the players? Because I'd imagine, the Invincibles, Alex Ferguson side, Chelsea side, City when they were winning, Liverpool. I very much doubt, even Liverpool, best example, because they're recent. I don't think, Klopp or Arne Slot now, they have to tell them what they need to do. It seems like players are looking around and getting with it. So could you argue we're at that point now where the players have got to sort it out themselves to a slight degree?
Ultimately, at the end of the day, it falls on the players, because I mean, the manager does pick him, he sets up the tactics, but at the end of the day, the people that represent the badge, the people that represent every single one of us, are the 11 guys on the field for that 90 minutes at the time. You change them in and out with substitutes and all that, but the players that are playing are the guys that represent us. And listen, it's human nature, deluded. It's human nature that yes,
True.
yes, I may be a dog in my own profession and or in what I do. I may be good at something, but I'm a human at the end of the day. I have things going on in my life, right? I'm part of a society. Being part of a society means that you lean on people. I have a support system. I have people where if I'm feeling down, if I don't feel good, if if I don't feel, if I'm not feeling mentally good, I call somebody. They help me, right? If I don't feel physically good, I call somebody and they help me. But ultimately, at the end of the day, my performance is my utter responsibility. So it does fall on the players. It does fall on the players, and I think that they do get that. I'm hoping they do get that. It's our support system with Arteta. He needs to really be there for them and force that and make sure that we're performing at that 100%
I'll
dog
throw
level
rice
thing.
into what we
So
said earlier about the dog thing as well. Forgot his name.
yeah, and I mean, it ultimately comes down to another thing that it also comes down to is the recruitment, right? It's the kind of player, the profile of player. So he seems to be gathering and collecting these characters bit by bit. Yeah, are we 25 dogs? Are we 25 dogs? No, but let me tell you something. There were Arsenal squads in the 2010s that I could pick one or two dogs. You just listed eight.
And
So
let's be honest, a lot
when
of people used to hide them times there. People used to hide because I genuinely believe, yeah, like them times when we had, obviously it's not 2010, but like when we had like a Xhaka or a Bellerin, I'm not being disingenuous to the players, but it felt like sometimes I would watch us and they kind of know, even if Bellerin was the best player, for example, on the pitch, he's going to be the scapegoat or the talking points
yeah,
behind it. So it's like you're kind of playing within yourself. That's one thing, regardless of this dog conversation. I can't accuse my players of not having that. I do think we have that fight and that determination, but that over the line, I don't know. I don't know. And like you said, you made a great point. Like there's what we got about, I said about 7 or 8. So it is progress in that regards. I've got to ask you though, yeah, because I think we reacted to a lot of setbacks against Wolves. We got the result, 10 men. It's kind of poetic that, Lewis Skelly, red card rescinded. He's obviously scored, right? I think the City game, I do think there was minuscule improvements that we could have made. I think we allowed, obviously, playing City, you got to box smart. They are going to have chances. You are going to need Raya
hmm
to do his thing. You are going to need your defenders. We started well. We pressed. We capitalized on them small mistakes. I do think there was an element of taking our foot out the gas. If I was really critical on something, I would say from minute 45 to minute 55 of that second half, I think they started a lot sharper in that second half than us. They obviously scored and made it 1-1.
yeah,
I felt we could have,
yeah,
it felt like the momentum could have
yeah.
shifted. And that's why I feel it's about moments, even down to what the point you made about Raya's save. Beyond that, to 101 seconds, we've obviously equalized and we smelt blood. We were great. We boxed smart. We went in for the kill when we could. We started well. It was great. Obviously, with us coming from behind against Wolves, with us pulling off a 5-1 win against City, does this give you, and obviously we got Dubai to come now. We're gonna have 10 days after the
I
game on
think I
Wednesday.
know what you're gonna
I have
ask.
to ask it, bro. Like, is it one last dance? Is it one last bit of optimism? Like, is the title challenge done for you? We're quite reactive, but I've got to ask, man.
Oh, the title challenge.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
I got two. I
oh
got
no,
two
no,
things
no,
to
no,
ask
no,
you
no,
in
no.
relation to
Deluded.
that.
That for me has never been done yet. It hasn't been done yet. That for me, and then this. So even if you had asked me before the City game, it wasn't done. What the City game now has done to me even more has been like, okay, it really isn't done yet. I don't think. And this is by no means me saying that we are going to win. I'm just saying it's not. Liverpool are still far and away favorites, but it's not done yet. It's as Arteta said, and this is all I this is because this is now the situation. I'm being realistic here, right? I'm not gonna put crazy ass demands like this. Liverpool are the ones in control. They are in control. They are in control. All I can ask for my people is the same thing that Arteta said: is whenever a mistake is made, as long as we are hovering, there, and it's not, I'm not talking like,
Got to play them
it's
as well at Anfield. Boy, it would be
there
romantic if
it
we
is.
come from behind and win the league. It'd be great.
Mistakes are brick by brick too. It doesn't have to be like 3 4 in a row. Just
Let's hope Moyes
one
can do us a
mistake.
favor.
let's just make sure we stay there. What I actually thought you would, what I thought you were alluding to, after this Man City performance,
Yeah,
right? Let's
Wednesday.
speak after this Man City performance. What I thought you were alluding to, what that Man City performance for me did is it changed my mentality to all of a sudden saying, all right, whatever about the Carabao Cup. Now, what I'm thinking is, my brother, if we get an early goal, if we get an early goal, deluded, if it get an early goal, it's gonna be an interesting tie. It's gonna be a
Newcastle had a
very,
bit of a wobble as well. What if we get early goal? Do you think we can overcome it? Because obviously 3 goals would be amazing. We scored 5 goals. If football was as white and black, we got 5 goals. We should believe we could score 3. But are you really that confident on Wednesday? Because I think we're kind of damned if we do, damned if we don't. Obviously, if we go gun ho from the start, they could counter attack us. They have got the 12th man, and obviously 3 goals is a massive deficit. Like it's all kind of playing into their hands. But like, where are you at with Wednesday then? Like you was about to say.
that the first 45 minutes of that game against Man City gave me the hope. If we perform like that, if players are on it like they were that first what for the first half, that first 30 minutes of the first half,
Mm.
if we are on it for that first 30 like that, if they give me like a 35 minute thing in the first half of that Newcastle game like they did in the Man City game, bro, you never know. Because in that first half of the Man City of that Newcastle game, or the Man City game, my brother, that 35 minutes that I'm alluding to, that on any other day, luck on our side, that's easily, well, not easily, but that's Arsenal 3-0 right there. That's Arsenal 3-0. That's the Havertz chance that he fluffed. That's the Martinelli thing where Odegaard opened him up, and the goal actually itself. So it's, if you give me that kind of energy where everybody's on it, connected and all that, you never know, my brother. You never know. 90 minutes is a very long time to defend a two goal lead. And that's also
Plus potential
considering,
extra time if we, at least score minimum 2 goals.
there it is. And it's also considering how they themselves have been playing.
And that's where I get, do you know what? Yeah. This is where I always say we're always our best friends or our worst enemies, because there's a lot to be positive about our club, but those fine margins, like play, like we've alluded to, playing like that on a consistent basis, I feel on and off the field, our club shoot itself in the foot, which just does jar me. I'm full of hope, but at the end of the day, Newcastle is probably that, give or take, Anfield where Liverpool's concerned and Newcastle where their place is concerned, probably the nastiest ground for visiting teams to go to. So we've got it all to do. It would be romantic and all of those things. But then, as you said, yeah, you mentioned at the start of this, back to reality. Like, obviously, it's deadline day. It tells apparent. In fact, before we get into that, yeah, Omar, big up yourself, because I've left your comment up there for a reason, just to keep reminding myself, because I wanted to, like, he's actually the reason why I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kai Havertz scored, technically got a goal and assist. I'm not going to ask you about Kai Havertz being clinical in front of goal, yeah, but you see when he had the first chance and then the second one, is it psychological? Because that was high pressure stakes with the first one. The game was basically won. Where are you at with that?
Let me tell you something, Deluded. If there is one thing you cannot knock this young man on, you cannot knock, you can call him,
Big up
you
my
can
guy,
call him
Cat.
shit. You can call him shit. You can say he sucks. I mean, that's, that we can argue. We can argue about that. We can call him shit. We can say he sucks. You cannot knock this young man's mentality. What this guy has been through, my brother, is incredible. And this is not, I hate to use myself as an example or whatever and all that. I mean, I work in this, you too, you work in this media space. I work in this media space. It is nasty out here. It is nasty, nasty, nasty out here. Now imagine Kai Havertz, one of the most famous Arsenal's massive. Arsenal is global. Arsenal is known. That guy's name is sang in every corner of the globe. You go to Southeast Asia, they're singing his name. You go to,
that's a good point from Catcher as well. When someone misses that chance, then bags the second, people would say it's a sign of a good striker. That's a great point from Catcher.
But because it's Havertz, he's a bottom. Yeah, bro, it's look at what happened with his wife.
Disgraceful.
A DM to me, just one DM saying Zah sucks can destroy me. DMs have I'm not trying to get dark or anything and all that. This is just the reality
Nah,
of
be
life.
honest, be real, man. That's what
People
we're here. Say what you feel.
people have taken their own lives because of what people have said about them online and stuff like that. This is the type of stuff that Havertz goes through every second of his life. People go after his wife. People go after his kids. People go after him every second of his life. This guy has millions of followers online. And then he keeps showing up, showing up. He misses. The whole entire world boos. He knew in that moment. He knew when he was like this. He knew I'm getting
I even
cooked.
said in
I'm
my
getting
watch
cooked
along, I don't want to see that
everywhere.
guy, you know.
He knew I'm getting cooked everywhere. I'm getting cooked in Africa. I'm getting cooked in Asia. I'm getting cooked in North America. I'm getting cooked in South America. He was getting cooked on every
Languages he
corner of the
doesn't even
globe.
understand and that.
Exactly. Accents he can't even hear. Languages he doesn't understand, bro. But he just pulled the socks off and kept going. That right there, right? He might suck as a finisher. I think we need a better finisher, but I cannot knock him for that. I cannot knock him for that, and I give him 1,000% credit. I give him 1,000% credit for that.
Where
Between
you at with this, yeah? Because I'm not saying
and
Bo's wrong, yeah, but people just assume like I'm not saying he's wrong. I do think when you're on money like that and you're a footballer, you got to take the rough with the smooth. It's like catches in the chat. Obviously, you're here, I'm here. We make content. We know we leave ourselves, whether it's because of how you look, a comment you made, an opinion you've changed. You leave yourself up for debate in it. How do you feel when people say, "Oh, you know what? You earn X, Y,
this
Z amount of money"? Because for
this
me, I
is
think it's bro, man, I'm still human, man.
that's what I'm saying. This is the whole black and white nature
Anyway,
of life. People think life is black and white. People think just because he makes this much money, then this is it. At the end of the day, as you alluded to, we're still human. We still have a conscience. We still have a soul. We all still want to be loved. Yes, yes, because of the skill that he has in football, his economic value for his work is a bit higher than what mine would be if I try to kick a football. That's just how life works. But to then now say, okay, because this guy makes 300,000 pounds a week. Yeah, yeah.
because
I
by that
mean,
logic, I don't
you'd
want to get
expect
dark, Czar, but
you'd
like that,
expect
by that
somebody.
logic, stockbrokers wouldn't kill themselves because they're earning a lot of money. You
Yeah,
hear all the time, rich man killed themselves. They got mansion and all these things, and
and
they've
listen,
strung up.
Deluded. That too. The salary thing is not his fault, my brother. As a human being, you look out for yourself and yourself only. You
Yeah, he never
take
put a gun
you
to Arsenal
take
to give him that.
you
To be
take
fair,
as much as someone is willing to give you. If Arsenal is willing to give you $275,000, why would you say no? Arsenal, don't give me 275,000. Give me 30,000 instead, so that so that
I don't think he's
online
thinking
people
about
can
money
stand
at
him
any
up.
point when you're on that field. Of course,
The
the
money,
money's
the
great, but
money,
like he's a
the
professional
money
footballer,
thing, the
bro.
money thing is just for us, is for us online folks to have something to tweet about and say, "Oh, I'm a tactical." I know that, bro. That's
Yeah, no,
that's
I
the
get
thing.
it. Naturally, it's like any walk of life. If a man's on certain amount of money, you want to see it correlated towards performance. Now, for me,
Mhm.
with Kai Havertz, I can criticize him because I think on one hand, regardless of if I think you're clinical or not, you're a professional footballer, and I keep seeing these misses. But on the other hand, you've never been clinical. I see it every week. I kind of have to judge you for what you are. Probably it kind of highlights our problems, but the fact that I think you're one of the more reliable and consistent attackers probably says our issue in that regards. And you didn't put yourself in this position, really. Like if you keep seeing someone
We
do the wrong things, it's on the recruitment, surely,
Yeah,
not to
we
alleviate anything that Havertz, he's free, he can be criticized.
we want him to be something he isn't, and we're judging him on that scale, and that's why everybody calls him a bum. But the guy's a good player. He's been good this season, and even the statistics will back up that claim. As much as people say, "All right, we watch him, I watch the game," but now when you look back at it, and you look at the stats and all that, it'll back up the claim that he's actually had a good season. Now, based off the eye test and based off people's sentiments and all that, people want something different in that position, and that's how Havertz is being judged. That's not on Havertz. That's on the Cronkies for not buying an alternate or whatever that we needed, a clinical in that aspect. We needed something that's a bit more efficient. So that's on the Cronkies for not doing that. That's you can't really. I mean, I can criticize him and get pissed when he misses sitters, but at the end of the day, I knew the business that I was getting into having this guy up front. It's the
Which is
gamble
up
that
front. Let's be
Arteta
honest, we failed upwards with him up front because it was even
yeah,
more diabolical in midfield. And again, listen, I think Arteta's done a lot of good things, but you have to hold that L because whether Kai's been good or not, that 65 million could have been spent elsewhere. I truly believe if everybody said their strongest Arsenal 11, yeah, we might, as Arsenal fans, we might Timbers right back, Benjamin White's right back, Lewis Skelly or whatever have you. But I think we'd agree on the nucleus of the team. I do think where the striker and left wing are concerned, I think every Arsenal fan, I'm a big fan of
is
Martinelli. I think they're the two positions that need to be upgraded. That's not his fault. Mikel
is
Arteta gone.
is 65. Sorry, I just want to touch on the 65 figure. Is 65 mil really that much in this day and
Of
age?
course,
I
it's
know
not in this day and age, yeah. But
that's what we get. That's what we get hammered on, that we spent 65. But I'm seeing 60 millions just being thrown.
you know
I've
what the
seen
wickedest thing
I've seen
about
it
Kai
being thrown
Havertz?
around like 4 or 5 times in this
Do
window.
you know what the wickedest thing about Kai Havertz is when we start getting into the, like, I would say the 45 plus, so the Lacazettes, the Kai Havertzes, the Declan Rices, the Pepes, we go on all day, yeah. He's probably been a better signing than a lot of man, but for
Yeah.
me, I look at the 65 million in that. You've pulled your weight. Could that 65 million have been spent on a number 8, whatever Mikel Arteta wanted from Havertz that could have done the job? Could that have went to other areas? So, because I just believe we can sit here and blame the Cronkies, and I do think ultimately we've been through this. It comes from them. But at the end of the day, yeah, they've let Arteta buy as many goalies as he wants, as many left backs as he wants. We needed a game changing midfield, whether you could get it for whatever price or not. Moreno's not touching that midfield free. So Arteta has to, like, you didn't have to buy Kai Havertz. And where's Kai playing if you sign a striker? He's
Listen,
probably going to be on
listen.
the bench or rotation. This is and that's not with Havertz. That's with the gaffer. That's why I mentioned 65 million.
I hear you on that. The whole I've given of you know what happens, Deluded? When my dad, when I was a teenager, right? He would give me my pocket money. He'd give me my pocket money and be like, "Yo, this is your $100. This is your $100 for the week. There you go, right?" I go, I go about my week, 2 weeks, 2 days, 3 days. On Wednesday, he'll come in and he'll be like, "Yo, that $100 that I gave you this week, what did you do with it?" I tell him, "Oh, I bought this candy, I bought that candy, I have this left, I have whatever left." The Cronkies don't even give a damn. They're not even doing check-ins. Yeah, they gave Arteta the 700 mil, but it seems like they don't even check in on their baby. They don't care about their child.
They're
And
starting to,
that
because it
is my
seems there's a remit on selling players and a bit of austerity measures, really. That's why, for me, as Arsenal fans, yeah, obviously, I look at it from a footballing point of view. We finished 2 points off City. Everyone connected to the club was saying we're going to capitalize on these fine margins. Arteta twice last year, the beginning and the end, said we've got one of the finished squads. In the build-up to this game against City, he said we went into the season trying to compete with 19 players in 4 competitions, and we're coming back. We've got players that have 3-4 long-term injuries. Now, I can say Arteta maybe could have spent money, could have done things elsewhere, but for me, I think that's negligence or incompetence or stupidity on the club, if I'm very honest with you. That's why, for me, obviously, it's hard not to be excited about Arsenal because I don't think we're that terrible. I think there's small things that we need to capitalize on to get us into that Premier League winning and all of these sort of things rather than just participating. But I don't think you can just blame the Cronkies. I don't think you can just blame Arteta. On one hand, you look at Liverpool with FSG. Klopp's managed to make it work. Klopp managed to get a league title or something. I can't blame the Cronkies for why we didn't win the league by 2 points last season. I have to look at Mikel Arteta and the players. For me, one game that sticks out, West Ham at home, where we needed a forward. Now, I understand strikers cost a lot of money. You want Isaac, you want Sesko. Of course, it's ignorant as me as an armchair expert to say X, Y, Z. But half of these guys linked with us, they have to start somewhere. And I genuinely think it's negligence. And that's why I didn't believe we could win the title. I just think because we didn't sign a left winger or a versatile inside forward and a striker, too many things external factors would have to fall into place for us to win the league. And I think all the things we said last season, what if Saka gets injured? What happens if Odegaard? What about Ben White? What about the depth?
And that's what happened this year.
Yeah. Like Life said, yeah, you want to see what life's like? And thank the Lord for Ethan and obviously Lewis Skelly. And the wickedest thing is we're still second. We're still tugging along. But that's where, for me, you have to approach this thing with balance. It's nowhere near as bad as people make out. But at the same time, I'm with them in that we're so close. Like, we're so close. If we just do X, Y, Z, even this summer, this January, sorry, like, you're bidding for Ollie Watkins a week or so before the window's done. 11 p.m. is the deadline now. Do you believe we have more than enough? Do you think we have enough? Because the rumors are coming out about Ben White and Saka could be back ahead of schedule. the fixture calendar list gets a bit nicer after Wednesday. We're at the FA Cup. Like,
brother.
do we need to sign?
Brother, I knew this story. You could see the story right itself at the beginning of January, as you alluded to. Window's gonna get shut, right? Window's gonna shut, especially after this Man City game was a gift for the club. This was the greatest gift for the club in their whole let's sit back and not do anything kind of thing. Because what's gonna
Mm.
happen is the window's gonna shut. We're going to go into the Carabao Cup. The Carabao Cup is pretty much right now in Arsenal fans because of what happened before. The Carabao Cup is pretty much a free hit in Arsenal fans' minds now. We go to Dubai. People are going to get gassed about Dubai. A tracksuit, a sick tracksuit's going to drop.
But
The
whatever
sun,
them man did last year in Dubai, they need to do that again, man. Like whatever they did, only them and God know. They need to come back on whatever they was on.
we're going to see the pictures from Dubai along with a sick tracksuit that drops. You're gonna see a picture of Saka on the training field, and his trainers in Dubai, Ben White, gassed. They're gonna tell us, oh, it's like having a new signing. Let's buckle in for the running, and that's it. That's the story. That's it.
And that's
It's
what I know.
it's
Like I honestly think, yeah, I don't like. I think we can get through 1-2 games. But then if we go where I want to go, like we're going into the Anfield game, we're going into the latter stages of the Champions League. Unfortunately, I mean, if we play and have the mentality like City, of course, I just don't think we have enough, man. I think even if everyone was fit, I don't think we have enough. I don't think we have any difference makers. I want to ask you about Ollie Watkins. Yeah, at the end of the day, he's 29. We bid it 45
mhm.
million. They're saying 60. Yeah, overpaying, resale value, all of that jazz. But if it's up to you, bearing in mind an attacker would probably, ease the burden on Kai Havertz and make us better with the deadline at 11 p.m. Would you do it? I know it's an
Yeah,
exception to the rule, but would you do
yeah,
it
yeah. To Ollie, for Ollie,
for
we
Ollie?
need
Yeah, for
we
Watkins.
we need it. We need a goal scorer. We need a for this season. Oh, Nico Riley stays with Man City for this season. We need a goal scorer, and Ollie Watkins is one of those signings that's he's not. We're not looking at him like let's ease him in kind of thing. He knows the language, he knows the league, he's very familiar with you can go as far as to say because of how many times he's played these guys, and how many times he's scored on us. He's very familiar with our players. He knows everybody on our team and all that, and he's ready to go. I don't buy into this whole 45 for 29 and all that, my brother. I'm seeing if you're good, you're good. And if you take care of yourself, you're fine. I'm
And
seeing
what if we
LeBron
win the
James.
league in the next 2-3 years? I think when obviously he's not Van Persie, but when United signed Van Persie, he was 29. I don't
Yeah.
think, and I know it's different, but I don't think Alex Ferguson cares. I really
When,
don't.
when
I
we
think
when
set
we
in stone.
signed when we signed how old was Aubameyang when we signed him?
I think the same age. And
Round
nothing
about
is
there.
stopping us from signing another striker, Like nothing is. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to happen. Like we're going to sign Ollie Watkins today, and then in the summer we're going to sign Sesko because obviously Kai Havertz is going to need game time. But if you signed Ollie Watkins on a 2-3 year deal, within that time, clearly, or you should be competent enough to find a more long-term option. Like I'm a bit shocked with the rhetoric behind Ollie Watkins. I understand it. Fans want Isaac.
I don't,
We've been gaslit with Sesko, but I'm having Ollie Watkins. Like,
I don't know
I'm
what
doing it.
kind of I don't know what kind of financial package he'll be demanding, but he's for this situation that we're in. I mean, he's one of the people that's, I hate to use this word, that's perfect. It's he's a different type of forward to what we have in that central channel. Because right now all we have is Havertz. Jesus might
And
be
we
done
both know Arteta
career
would put
wise.
Watkins left wing and have Havertz up front as well.
Yeah,
Like he can play out there. Isaac is a
yeah.
can as well.
So I mean, I wasn't. I was shocked. I was shocked when, and that's the problem with and that's what I hate about Twitter and all that. And people just look for anything and everything Arsenal related, any form of Arsenal news, and this is both from within and from without. The haters and Arsenal fans within. Anything that is said, people just look for something to moan about. We celebrate, the haters say we can't celebrate. Havertz misses a chance. The Arsenal fans lose their mind, and it's It's
No one had
exhausting,
a,
bro.
you
I
know
just
what,
need a
yeah?
freaking
Do you know,
title.
do you know
That's
what I
it.
find funny? Because you mentioned celebration. No one had an issue when Anthony Gordon, like no one had an issue the last year with Haaland. No one had an issue when Anthony Gordon's doing the Henry thing. No one had an issue with Manchester United. Rightly so. You should. This is football. You win, chat shit in it. But no one had an issue with United when they beat us in the FA Cup and the antics. It's when we do it, and this is why I tell Arsenal fans, well, stop listening to the outside. I know it's
Exactly.
frustrating, and that's why I rate Lewis Skelly more, because obviously every dog has their day. There's gonna be a time Lewis Skelly plays shit or Haaland gets the better of him. You're getting ripped. This is why I respect it. Everything's microanalyzed. Xhaka said it. Micah Richards said it, and I think a lot of it is because of like there's many a reason, but I genuinely think it's because Wenger was the first foreign manager and it's followed us there. Is it a colour thing like Sol Campbell says? I think there's elements of that. I do.
Gary Neville, for example,
Yeah, he's
Deluded.
a pussy, man.
Gary Neville, for example, is exactly where he is. He is who he is, and he is where he is in life solely off the
He's a
backs.
gaslighter.
And the people that are the most responsible for him being there are the people that hate him the most. They're the ones that are the most responsible for his career and his success in his career, because you see him chat shit about that the Gabriel comment, the Gabriel thing, right?
Brother, you
At the
played
end of
for Man
at the end of the
United,
day,
bro.
at
Like,
the end
I
of the
can't
day,
accept it from Gary Neville because you're calling us mad. Like, that's gaslight. You played for Man United. Like, I'm 29. I used to see the antics United did. You as well, Gary Neville. You weren't the massive culprit. I mean, they had Rio and Roy Keane and all them, man. But what are you talking about?
yeah, yeah.
What are you on about?
That's the actions himself. He did the same thing. That's not more the action. So I was more alluding to Arsenal fans. You moan about Gary Neville, but guess what the most viral thing is on Arsenal Twitter right now? Arsenal fans say Gary Neville's the most hated guy on the thing, but it clearly isn't. The most popular thing right now going around on Arsenal Twitter is Gary Neville himself. All the guy does is give an opinion. You don't have to clip him up. You don't have to retweet him. You don't have to listen to him. But it's these guys that say, oh, they hate him, and all that. They're
No, but
retweeting him, and all of a sudden his word now becomes gospel.
Football mirror society, bro. Like it's like again, football mirror society. It's like when people are doing the obvious race baiting and all of that nonsense on Twitter. I'm not saying this is wrong to. You should kind of say something, but when you ignore people, you don't give people power, human emotion. You're gonna do all of that, and that's you saw it with Katie Hopkins. I'm not comparing Gary Neville to Katie Hopkins, evidently, yeah, but that is what happens. And I do, let's be honest, like there is a section, mainly the social media Arsenal fans, they are a bit of a softer touch. They do want internal and external validation. Like they
Yeah,
just can't do it. Like I am
yeah,
very frustrated with the lack of
yeah.
consistency with how we're spoken about. But at the end of the day, this
They
is
want
what it is.
external. They want external. They want
Yeah,
validation from the
like fuck
rivals.
them. They don't rate us anyways.
The
We win
rivals.
the
Yeah,
If we won a Premier League this season, they'll say, "Oh, it's only one. I'll take to spend X amount of money." You haven't retained it though. It happens with everyone. It happened with Wenger. It happened with Sir Alex Ferguson. It happens with everyone. If Usain Bolt Usain Bolt when he won his first gold medal, it's because of this and that. You can't do it again. This is
then
how
he came
life
and he
is.
defended it.
The goalposts keep moving. They don't rate Bukayo Saka is probably the best one with fans. No, all these rival fans sit there and say they don't rate Bukayo Saka. He's not aesthetically pleasing. We know he's a bad boy. We know he's cold. They say they don't rate him. Any young winger that had played good for 2 games, we've been here. They compare him. They know they rate him. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, these media houses with social media, you need to get paid. It's all about clicks. Arsenal, I would say Arsenal first and then United fans on social media. You're going to bite the bait, bro. You're going to
Yeah.
bite it. And you're keeping the lights on. You're keeping the lights on.
Yeah,
I wanted
and
to,
the club too needs to start banning some. The Telegraph, I've been monitoring. I've been keeping notes of papers
they
that need to be
won't, man.
banned from the
Everyone's in
Arsenal press room.
cahoots with each other, man.
The Independent, and the Telegraph, and the Mirror. Them 3 need to be banned from Arsenal property. They should not be allowed on stadium or at Colney.
Sir Alex Ferguson used to run all of that kind of stuff. I'd say just name and shame, because that's what annoys me. Yeah, with journalists, yeah, we'll see the articles, especially when it comes to like Rashford, for example. We all know Rashford's struggling, but like for someone that's struggling, like they're onto him all the time. If you name and shame referees, like you can name the journalist. If me and you make content, or big up Catchies in the comments, if he makes content, yeah, man will clip you up and say, oh, this, that, and the third. Journalists make mad comments, and you don't know the specific journalist. Like you will say Daily Mail, this and that, but you're not onto them. Like, and it's very jarring. Completely off topic, yeah. But I almost forgot to ask you. I asked you this before, but with Partey's performance yesterday, Does he get a new deal? There's rumors Jorginho's cutting as well.
Woo, brother, that's a question that I've been battling with actually in my group chat with one of my friends since yesterday, man. It's listen, the guy's been the best player this season. The guy has been he's been our best player this season.
Do you give him the deal though?
Fuck, man. Oh my days.
Because what if you give him the deal? What
Deluded.
if you give him the deal and it's a case of a man playing out of their skin in their last year their deal and he reverts back to type? Because if I'm honest with Partey, I think he's been a great signing. He's a quality signing. But for a whole season, I've only seen it twice. I've only seen it this year up until this point. And what was it, 2022, 23, where it was him and Xhaka. I don't know what's changed. I don't know what he's doing differently. I'm just seeing him ball out.
I can tell you, those were contract years. Those were contract years. And that's where you know what? I sit down with my guy Thomas. Sit down with my guy Thomas, and I'm like, all right, I try broker. What I'm doing here. So what he's gonna want a 3-year. Players always want the long contract as long as
Especially
possible.
at his
Rightly
age.
so. Rightly so. You look out for yourself. You need to earn for longer. I don't know how I convince him to get a 1-1. That means you probably have to bump up the salary. You probably have to bump up the salary. I think Partey is almost at 200. I think he's probably like 180, 200. So you have to probably give him a big time bumper. I'm guessing probably 250. I don't know if he
could we afford to do that? Because in theory, you'd imagine Zinchenko's gone. I think Tini's on 100k. Nelson's on 100k. He's probably gone.
We're getting rid of a lot of, and that's where Arsenal historically has been. We've been terrible. We can go back as far back as players like Nicholas Bentner. Bentner was making 90. He was making £90,000 a week. We're very bad at overpaying. We overpay salary wise our squad players, our squad, and those in and around, and we never go fully on board for our star players. Hence why we end up losing them. So Partey, here's my deal with Partey, because I know Arteta wants to do Zubamendi, right? We can bring in Zubamendi. You also have to take into consideration that we have squad planning wise, we have Miles Lewis Skelly, right? You know, we have to consider the fact that we have Miles Lewis Skelly there that now needs a lot of minutes based off his talent. Skelly has to be playing. Skelly literally has to be playing. Otherwise, we're going to have to sell him.
And him and Ethan are getting new deals as well, probably.
Both them too. So you consider that.
Saliba, Gabriel, and Saka need new deals immediately.
Who do we have? We have Odegaard. We have Marino. We're
not getting rid of Gabriel Jesus now. Obviously, we wish him the best, but ACL's broken.
Rice. If we bring in Zubamendi, I don't know if there's space if we bring in Zubamendi. If we bring in Zubamendi, I don't know if there's space. If he accepts, and that's the thing, is that you can't be on the kind of, he's such a good player, on the kind of salary that he is playing Jorginho minutes. And he's only 31, so he's not going to want to take a drastically lower salary now. That happens when you're 32, 33. But ideally, we get him in that Jorginho fifth midfielder role. I would love for him to stay, because when he's fit, and that's the problem with Partey. If he can actually just be like, yo, I'll pay you guys back here. I'll lower my demands and I'll pay you guys back. If you could just
have confidence, the man would be fit,
for sticking through with me when my knee was just getting blown out before every single freaking important game that we've had these last 5 years. For you guys sticking through that, I'll give you at a discounted rate a 1+1. I would love that. But
if it's a 1+1, I'm on that. But you made a great point about space, innit? Like, obviously,
there's just not enough minutes.
Yeah, like if we don't get hung up on 8s and 6s and we just say midfielders, you've got Declan Rice, whether they're better or not is irrelevant, people, but you've got Declan Rice, you've got Moreno, you've got the option of Kai Havertz, asterisk next to Zubamendi because he's not a player of ours, and I'm definitely missing out one. So that there's 5 players or 4 players. Odegaard, not even a shoot.
Fabio's
Ethan's
back,
now
right?
a midfielder as well. You don't know. Arteta might say
there.
Odegaard in the 8 and Ethan in the 10 or something. I would keep him because you could argue the caveat, of obviously I hear that we don't know a year from now what it's going to be saying with Partey. But when I look at our midfielders, obviously Rice is quality, but like It feels like Partey's the more all-rounded of them. They can't really offer what Partey has when he's on
Not
song.
much.
When he's not at right back, and you could even say, I don't agree with it, but the fact that he's at right back, Mikel Arteta, for one reason or another, loves him. Now, obviously, we've had injuries at right back, but last season, Mikel Arteta was playing him there unprovoked. And even
Yeah,
last year, at the beginning, and even last year, yeah, because remember him,
played him
Timber, and Tommy were
preseason.
out.
Yeah,
He came in towards the running. So Arteta clearly likes him a lot.
he
He
played.
clearly does. And we're going to let a lot of experienced players leave. So could you make a
So
case?
so I think the Partey right back thing, right? What that was so initially when Arteta was squad building, his inversion was from the left side. His inversion was from the left side through
Yeah.
Zinchenko, and I mean Calafiori.
Xhaka was there
That's
them
the role
times.
that Calafiori. That's the role that he was playing beginning of this season, and I think the Partey thing, because the Partey the first time, as you alluded to, was preseason in the US 2 years ago against Man
And at the
United. I
start,
think.
was it last year or the year before? It might have been last year. Was it last year? Yeah. And the
Which
last year or the
which
year before, he's playing in right back unprovoked. Well, to us, it looked unprovoked as well.
what was the season that we're wearing the lime green kit?
Last year.
That's the one. That's the one where preseason he played at right back preseason, because that's when they came on tour here, and he played at right back against. Did he play at right? I think he might have played right back, and then Timber was at left back against United. I could be mistaken, but I believe that preseason he played, and then he went into midfield, played midfield, then towards the end of the season he went again and he played at right back, and then this year he started at right back. And I think Arteta was trying to do the whole, all right, depending on the game, I'll invert either from the left or from the right type of thing.
Would you take Ottoman?
I'll take anything up front. I'm
I'm desperate as well.
We really do need bodies, right? We're happy right now. We're smiling. It's still football. Let me tell you something. Martinelli can get injured next game, and it's a crisis.
God, and this is the thing. This is why I'm a bit pessimistic, because like we have to hope a lot of things work. Like for me, I'd rather be proactive. It's like for me, I know it's easy for me to say as a fan, but we saw that we was very fortunate with injuries, and we've got a smaller squad. Like I said, Arteta said it at the start of 2024. I would have loved us to come into the summer and say, you know what, we were fortunate with injuries, but we still had Timber, Tomiyasu, and Partey out. We know we don't have bodies. If it does get to that, let's make sure we've got a big enough squad. What do you make of the Nico Williams rumors, man? Like, I'm tired. I'm asking you. I'm tired of hearing about Williams and Sesko, and it feels like it's gonna be the rumors of a war chest in the summer, man.
Is that who people were alluding to? Who are people alluding to yesterday?
I don't know.
I saw something. People were abuzz. People were sending me
TSL, but
messages.
he's going in Spurs, isn't it? Unless there's something crazy. And apparently, Nico Williams ain't in the squad. Weren't in the squad yesterday.
People were sending me a message. People were sending me messages. One of those, and I hate. And these are the guys I hate on Twitter. These guys with no faces, no names.
There's better ITK. You just need a blue tick, and people will believe you, because Arsenal just want hope, bro.
One of the guys that apparently I don't know which one he got right. And that's the thing about Twitter, is it only takes one transfer for you to get right, and you're now the source. So one of these guys that does that, I think, tweeted out like hard eyes yesterday, and people went ape nuts, and I don't know who that was. And if that's the case, if Williams was the one that was outside of the if he didn't thingy, if it's him, then I'll take him, bro. It's I'm just sick of deadline. I hate, this is my least favorite day as an Arsenal fan, as a longtime Arsenal fan. As a long-time Arsenal fan that's been through the journey. If you started recently, 2, 3, 4 years ago, that's fine. But as a long-time Arsenal fan that's been following the team for now, it's almost 30 years, bro. January, this is the worst time of it. It's the worst. It's hell. It's hell, because you know the story, but you always get these. So now it's digital, it's Twitter. You now get these in the nose that are telling you something good's coming, You get gassed, and it's like, I just don't want to be on my phone.
But this is why I say, until man are holding scarves, taking interviews at Arsenal, saying I used to watch Omri and Bergkamp, I'm more than happy to discuss and talk and see everyone where everyone would be. But that's as far as it goes. Even Zubimendi, we've been chasing. I think there's some credible interest in Zubimendi, because obviously the credible journalist said that, and we've been chasing him. But you've not signed, and actually with Zubamendi, it feels like you're always going to leave, and 1 minute it's Arsenal, then it's United. It seems like it's going to happen. Then you elect to stay. And I think we've been down this route, man. It's like we get linked with man, and then it's about summer and all of these kind of
We
things. For
get
me,
used. We
exactly
get
like, I'm
used.
pessimistic
We're
on.
the
Go on.
we're the guy that juices up. We're the guy that juices up your wages. We're the guy that juices up your price.
And to be
Everybody.
honest, yeah, and to be honest,
All you
yeah,
need to do
bro.
is just drop. Oh, Arsenal's interested.
And to be honest, let's be honest, like this is free game for the journalists because I would imagine when the window closes, like let's say Arsenal out of the FA Cup, right? There's not going to be real any Arsenal news. They're going to have to really earn their paycheck. Arsenal news right now, there's no way of checking you're credible. You just clickbait, you're gone really and truly. And I just feel like we've been down that cycle. And why I'm pessimistic for now and today is I don't want to say too little, too late. There's still hours until 11 p.m. comes. I'll still have hope, but yeah, man, I needed to see bidding for Watkins first 2 weeks of January and all of these kind of things. It does feel too little, too late, man.
If there's anything, I mean, because and that's what I hate about just seeing all those messages and people tweeting me. Because I mean, it's in the past. I mean, we've had situations like this where we have had no idea, and something just pops up. The
I remember
Özil
Fabio Vieira's transfer was like that.
Fabio Vieira.
It was radio
Fabio
silence
Vieira
and
was
then-
crickets. Fabio Vieira was crickets. Thomas Partey, the Partey one. Partey, you remember
Nah,
Partey?
nah, that
Partey. I heard about Partey late.
That weren't critics, man. Like, where were you that
heard
summer?
Partey
That was the summer of Our versus Partey, and fans were like, "La, let's get Our, let's get whatever." And it seemed like we were trying to negotiate with Partey, and then we had to save face last day of the season.
So the
Like,
Partey, Hassim Aouar, yeah, I remember Aouar, like the
Wonder
Partey
where he
one
is now.
Wait, what? I thought the Partey one was quiet because Partey, I thought was quiet, and then that song, the second we got him, that's the next day Robbie did that song.
Big up Robbie, man. Robbie and Cecil, them antics, they're mad. Like,
But
I got a last question.
the
for you.
Fabio Vieira one is quiet.
Yeah, no, Fabio Vieira came out of nowhere. That's one. Like I just woke up and saw that. My last question for you, yeah. Obviously, you mentioned, and I think Catch is bang on the money because Odegaard's great because we've been asking well gone for Odegaard for the last couple of games. Yeah, do you think he needs competition?
I think his competition's there already.
Do you think he'll ever get competition like that though? Because he's the captain.
His competition is there already. It's just his competition. I think his competition is filling in elsewhere.
Who would it be though?
Because elsewhere is injured. Ethan operating in that channel, bro. Ethan operating in that channel in those pockets. That's where he operated for the youth team. For the youth team, that's where he coming off that right. I mean, we've seen how sick he's got that sucker. He's got the sucker shot down, bro. Did you see there was a cross that he put in before the shot? So the sequence that he was involved in before the shot for the goal, there was a cross. It just dipped at the last second. He put a cross that was going right onto Havertz's head.
He did something similar against Girona from the left hand side, if I remember correctly. It's been a great week for Ethan still, man. We just need to
in those. We put him in the 10, right? We put him in the 10. One thing we've been missing, it's the one quality that Tierney each time, and you see it each time he pops on the field now.
Well.
That early cross, the cross that's from that early cross that comes in from deep, that comes in not from so far the byline, right? Not from so far the byline, but from like deep and within the field. Nwaneri pops up in those pockets. He can do that from the right side.
Trossard was cold as well to go with that, and
everybody.
That's the thing.
Yeah, was on it. Martinelli wasn't rewarded for a goal. Martinelli was on it.
Listen, I can't lie. Against City, everybody needs to stand up to be counted, isn't it? There's no hide. There's literally no hiding place. The one thing I would say is something that's not preventable in that I would like Ethan and Lewis Skelly to kind of be protected, but at the end of the day, we can see the dynamics of where they're at. It's sink or swim, and they're swimming right now. It is what it is. That's probably the most positive thing so far this season. In that, obviously they've been around, but you've gone from it being in that weird space where you're kind of part of the first team, but you're not to your genuine options. Like Ethan, you're a genuine option either in the 10, in the 8, or on the right. Lewis Skelly, that's your place to lose. You're keeping a 30, 40, 50 million pound Italian international out the side. And I do wonder, yeah, obviously I think Zinchenko's gone. I think Kivia will leave. I wonder how they feel about Tomiyasu. I know he's versatile, but out of push, Timber can play left back. Lewis Skelly's announced himself. Tomiyasu is a quality player, and I miss the guy. But at the end of the day, it's like it's like your manager being great at their job. If they're never in the office or they're never doing the work, it's irrelevant. It's jarring.
Exactly. Let me tell you something, Deluded. Miles Lewis Skelly and Ethan
Big up,
Waneri
Catchman.
are first team players. They have arrived. There's no more of this. It's unfortunate to say there's no more of this whole unless we pay them bigger salaries. Unless we pay them bigger salaries, there's no more of this. All right, oh, let's rest them. We need to protect them and all that. These kids have now arrived. They are now pretty much destined to be on like the soccer minutes kind of thing. It's that's what happens when you're a young elite baller, as Arteta said. Yeah, you have to try and manage it with the injuries and all that. But as a young elite baller, you should be ready to play 40 to 50 games a season. And that's now they
I'd
just
even say
went.
if you're a
It's
Saka
just
type, it's about 70 now, unfortunately.
yeah, they went from this season having to only do 10 15 games this season because of our injury crisis. They're full-blown first team players now.
We need to run up the agenda. I
We
can't lie.
need
Lewis
to
Skelly needs to be nominated for Young Player of the Year, man.
Ben
Like,
White.
not even forget Arsenal internal nominations. I'm talking the PFA,
Premier
Premier League, or whatever.
If
Yeah,
he
I'll
keeps going
I'll
like this,
genuinely be amazed. Yeah, I'll genuinely be sorry, Lewis Skelly. I'll be genuinely amazed if Lewis Skelly is not in that England squad with Tuchel. At the very minimum, them two lads will be in the under 21s. Tuchel
and
will do
that's
the
what's
right thing.
my brother. That's disrespectful. And that if I am advising Nwaneri, if I am advising Lewis Skelly, bro, this whole just because it's English, I'm under 18. Those guys are the best players in England. If he doesn't get picked, if I'm advising him, if I don't get picked by England this next time round, I'm declaring for Nigeria. If I'm not near, if I don't get picked by what's it called by England this next round, where's Lewis Kelly from? Barbados? He's
Yeah,
probably from the
yeah.
Caribbean. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think
you're
he's
not
gonna
going to
go
do
to
that, but
Barbados. I
they're
would
not
love
going
him.
to do that. But
I would love him to. I would love him to. I would love him
there,
to. It's not happening. It's not happening.
yeah,
It's
no.
not
I mean, they're
happening.
not
It's
going,
not
but
happening. Ethan's probably got more chance of playing for Nigeria, but even that,
so
once
for
you
them,
start getting into the England thing and you've been part of the youth side and all of that, and
for
obviously
them
we could get
personally, I
into
think
it,
they
but
should
there's
go. They
all
should go into
the
the
other
first team.
stuff.
They
Huh?
should go into the first team personally. I think for them personally, I don't want them to be selected by England because that's now minutes on their legs that we need them for Arsenal kind of
I
thing.
hear that.
I'm
But I
happy
know,
for them.
man. I want
They
them
should be
to,
England
man.
starters. Yeah, that's the thing for them to feel good. Ben White, might. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good way to
it's
end this. Like, that when Ben White comes back for you, is it difficult to get back in the team? Kind of disregard the fact, obviously, he's injured, he's got to take time with it. But yeah, they're both. Let's assume Ben White's fit. We've seen what we're seeing at the moment. What's going on there?
what I think they'll do. What I think they'll do, right? Because Ben White is on a first team player salary. What I think they'll do is then that left back slot. Because I don't know how much Calafiori. I think Calafiori is on a squad. Calafiori, I don't think is on a starter salary. So I think what will then happen is
Hey, you're turning into
Timber
our accountant, man.
Timber will move to that's where my background is, bro. That's where my background. If you're paying, that's why Havertz is starting. That's why Havertz.
Of course,
That's what people have to understand is you come in.
you're in America.
when
You need
when
to
you
find a
negotiate a
flunky. You
contract.
can get a little job for yourself, man.
You come in, you negotiate, you come in for a specific role. So whether Twitter fingers likes it or not, you're paid for a specific role. You come in for a specific role. When Havertz is fit, Havertz is match fit under this current contract, he is a starter. He is a starter. Ben White is on a starter salary. He is a starter. Calafiori is the one that then drops down. Ben White can play
Different horses for different courses, and I guess
again. It's not fantasy land. It's not fantasy land. You're dealing with human beings. Ben White has an ego. Ben White is not going to say because Braun, and this is, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but it's not going to say because Braun Breaker tweeted out that he should be Saliba's backup. That's where he's going to go. That's just not how
man,
he works.
I think if I'm honest with you, obviously I hate what you're saying with the salary, but I do think if we want to go to where we want to go to, there's going to be players on big salary. And I think Ben White, I think all of these players, you recognize that end of the day, you have to do the job. Of course, your ego's going to be bruised if you're not starting, but Ben White dealt with this. Everyone was saying, oh, Timber's going to take your place. Timber's going to take your place. if you want to start, make sure the gaffer makes you start in it. Because if we've got genuine competition, it's at fullback. Obviously, right now it's Timber and Lewis Skelly. I don't really want to see Timber at left back, but Timber at left back and Ben White. There's all different. Calafiori's not out of it, and I don't think fans should rule him out. You are right on that, but just make it happen. Just make it happen. We need competition. And even that. I know when we start the season and it's relatively one game a week, always the one that's not playing is future's done. But as we've seen from the start of the season to now, brother, their games are coming thick and fast. 3 games in 10 days. We're competing in 4.
There were people, and the beautiful
and
thing
Ben White
about
being
me,
fit could have even played centre back on occasion when we tried to rest players, man, in the cups.
I don't know if you remember this wild time in Arsenal history. I would literally at least.
That's why. No. I
No,
wouldn't
but
really.
I don't know if you remember this wild time in Arsenal history. The Deluded. I think it was sometime last season and the beautiful thing about me is for the last 4 or 5 years or so, my Arsenal opinions have all been on record. So people can go back and check. But there was a wild time in Arsenal history where people were telling me that Gabriel Magalhaes.
But they were saying Arteta's got him on the chopping block and he's done, fam.
And I was like, bro.
They were talking like Gabriel Magalhaes is a scrub.
And I was like, I know Saliba is popular and he's the one that online people love. But if you watch the game, am I crazy to think that at the time, our best defender, arguably, I think our best player at the time was him, just based off.
Let's be honest, it's only in the last 2 years, that he's getting his flowers, like his proper flowers, flowers, and forget Arsenal fans recognized in world football. They were comparing him to Romero. Romero is one thing. Lisandro fucking Martinez is better than Gabriel. People were trying to lead that chart. We've got 2 elite individual centre backs. We've got one of the best partnerships in world football. Gabriel relishes it. If Gabriel was English, I think he'd get gassed up a bit more. I know he's Brazilian, but he's basically English. He's with it. Durag Diaries, you man tried to compare Donny to Romero, blood. You're going crazy. Gabriel.
Another one. No, it's absolutely insane. I remember at the time I was like,
Tell rejected us. We haven't bidded it. Tell can be a loser and be with you lot, blood. You're going crazy.
How is this guy? Yeah, that tell. So what? He's going to Tottenham? Is that an oblate? Was that
it's a dry loan, man. They're just keeping the spot warm. They're turning holes into housewives. The girl, it's like a girl that wants nothing to do with you. You're still taking her on dates. She's getting fed, her belly's getting fed, then she's calling her main thing, and you got her waved and she's taking pipe. Big up Durag Diaries, the same guy that was like, make sure you subscribe to me. Oh, you can't do the rejected thing. I know we're not getting told. Like, bro. he's family though, man. He's a spud, but
really ain't moving now. It's just now it's literally now the only club that can afford to actually buy people is Man City. I think, bro, you know what
man agreed a permanent bid and somehow it's turned into a loan. These lot are chucks, man. Like, bro. In fact, since you're talking about signings, Durag Diaries, I just want to know, you lot signed a player called Batty. Tell us about him. Like, you lot they signed a player called Batty. I think I'm making this up. Spurs signed Batty. I'm sure he's a good player. They've got a cock on their emblem and that. Like, he's crazy. We didn't try. We wanted a lot. We wanted a buy option, my brother. Go and look at what David Ornstein said. Nobody actually bidded. United were not giving positive signals. They cut. Arsenal weren't getting positive signals. They cut. You lot were the ones flying Levy and calling like, oh, babes, give me a chance. Big up Postecoglou because he's got a bit of game. Allow it, bro. The agendas have to agenda, but take that stuff over here. That's cool. Man think I'm making this up. You signed a man called Batty, blood. Walk on for that. Daniel Batty. You're going mad.
Oh, he's an academy.
You're going mad.
Why are they? So what is?
I don't be the man about rattled. Hey, George, you're better than that. But go on, man.
What's their thing? They just now they're loading up youth players now.
To be fair to Postecoglou, I said it in my video. I was like, if he wants to get game time, I thought you would get game time at United. You will play. Postecoglou is playing young players. You are going to get games. You're going to get a platform. Make sure you deliver. And now there's the London aspect. And now, as somebody that wanted you at Arsenal for one day, you can see my videos. You have an enemy in me. Any slip up, I'll be there. There's got to be a reason Bayern Munich haven't signed him. Like, have you seen his goal tally? Man are not scoring goals. We're being shameless now.
He's a young kid too, 19.
Blood, bro.
19. You know who you should also
He's got the
central
arm
mid.
thing as well. I need to see delivery. He
Oh,
needs to score
he's got
100 goals.
the
Yeah,
the
the Benzema
band-aid.
thing. You need to get 20 goals. We'll be
Let me
there.
tell you some. When we were talking central midfield, another one that we forgot that of course we need to start planning for 2-3 years, maybe yeah 2-3 years from now on. Max Dowman, bro. Max Dowman. We need to start making space for him.
He's
Apparently
a
he's
quality player, but I
and
think you know
that's
what, yeah, people shouldn't even know about him. Like, this is one thing I hate about social media.
social
Like, I
media.
think
Yeah,
just let
14
the man
men.
develop, because the same way everyone's gassing him and he's 15, 16, when he's out of his comfort zone and trying to install consistency, they're gonna draw him out. We gotta remember, everybody loved Ethan. Everyone was singing his praises. Now everyone's singing his praises against Brighton and Brentford, that kind of fixture. Do you remember Everton at home? Oh, Ethan's not ready, man. He's not good, man. The same rope you climb up on, the same rope they hang you.
Arteta's doing it for PR. He's doing it for
Yeah,
PR.
yeah. It's gonna get crazy. Like, I think that's one thing that's my pet peeve in today's day and age. Yeah, if you're a young, exciting talent at 16 or 17 or 18, man, think you just the next day you're this world class, top class player. You're the guy. It's jarring, man. It's
You
jarring.
gotta keep your feet on the ground. But talent wise, prospect wise,
Talent
what I'm
wise,
hearing, bro,
brother.
apparently this one, people are saying Ethan, this is the one. This is
You know,
people
they're
are
all the ones.
talking.
Max Dolman, I'll be surprised.
Nah,
I- I'll,
they're
I'll be
saying,
very surprised. You are
they're
a
saying,
serious
they're
player.
saying, people are saying better than Wilshere.
Let
Which
him do it.
Wilshere coming through, bro. If you
He's a
remember them
listen.
times, bro, that
He's a
was
baller. He's an absolute baller. He's a Bobby Dazzler. He's everything you want in an Arsenal footballer, man. And he's strong as well. Now, obviously, it's all fun and games being strong at youth level. You just take time. He's a baller.
everything changes.
And that's why I'm a
Everything
bit
changes.
annoyed Jack Wilshere left the club, man, because you was the manager of Max Dolman. You're like the new age Jack Wilshere. Obviously, he was actually at the game as well, man. So we'll have to see. But
Yeah,
one thing for sure,
you saw the picture. That was awesome. The picture of his kids with
Kendrick
Skelly.
Lamar was there as
That
well.
was awesome.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, I
Thing,
saw that. I saw that.
last thing for you. Are you confident of Arsenal signing anyone? 11 p.m. deadline.
What do you want? My brain or my heart? Answer wise.
Brother, we want what you genuinely feel is the case, man.
I hope what I
Nah, no
genuinely
hope.
think.
Do you think Arsenal are signing someone, sir? It's a safe space. Gun to your head. Someone's going to kill you and everyone you love. Do you think
Nope.
Arsenal are going to sign someone?
Nope. Arsenal
Neither
ain't
do I.
signing nobody. We're gonna get pictures of Saka and Ben White in Dubai, and that's what's gonna be told.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's where
I
the
fell
PR
for the
spin is
hype
gonna
as
be.
well. Dude, like, I fell for it. Like, Saka's off crutches. You know what? He might
Yeah.
be back. See, there's
The
man.
spin is gonna be, and we're good at the PR stuff. So it's slowly it's gonna. We've already started the Easter eggs. You see that the Easter eggs. First 2-3 weeks ago we see him at the stadium on crutches. Now they're cutting to him each time at the stadium. He's coming down to the field and all that.
A new signing, man. You know what? It is what it is now, man. Like,
Oh,
it is what it is. I might as well
did I
buy
see
into
someone?
it now.
Did I see someone just comment Dan Crowley? Did someone comment Dan Crowley?
Dan Crowley. I can't lie. I told man Dan Crowley ain't gonna make it. Wenger never rated him. He kept speaking about him physically. To be fair, he's doing. Where is he now? He's still
Where is he?
having a decent career. I just think we handled his loan shit, man. Like you
He
sent, we
was not
played
on his
them
side.
times they were playing 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. You sent him to a club in League One or something that play 4-4-2. They're playing him off the left now. Minutes are currency, all of that kind of stuff. But you're not gonna thrive, man.
We gotta figure out. Our academy because we do. You know what? I think our academy. These like last 2 years or so, our academy is. We just have to figure out how to monetize it. Our academy's been good.
Yeah, we need to do the Chelsea thing.
Look at what's going on. The Saka position. We've had 3 guys. We've
Even
had
City,
2,
I'm
3
seeing
guys
them
that
sell
can do.
players for decent money as well that
Yeah.
are never gonna make it. Like, it helps.
Bro, we've had what Saka is. We had a regen in Cozier Dewberry that we couldn't sell because we messed around and is what's it called. Ethan's doing that same Saka thing that he did. Look at how easily we
Even
lost
Waters
Aiden.
wasn't gonna make it here, but that could
Yeah,
have turned into a 10, 20
look at how
million
we
pound
look at
player, man.
how we lost Rule Waters, the defender, and then the other one, what's his name?
He was never
Isaac,
going to
the
make it.
Hayden.
Him, I'm just on making peace.
Hayden
Like,
Hayden.
not everyone has to bust through. Because I must admit, someone that watches Youth Academy, I sometimes see people gassing up.
We need to get better at securing them and monetizing them. I'm
Being
not
proactive
saying
and
I
patterning
don't
the
want to see
loans,
them.
man.
I don't want to see them I'm not saying I want to see them in the Arsenal first team necessarily. We should be selling. The fact that we only lost Aiden Havens to a guy that's going and getting a Manchester United first team squad number.
And Lissandro
we
Martinez
only got paid,
might get a chance. He's not ready anyway.
We've only got paid like what, $1 million, $2 million? How do we get in
I think they said a mil. If he made his debut, it could have been something. A man said I called off work for this. I would take in Conky for 45 million. We're moving desperate.
For deadline day, he called off work to watch Jim White.
Yeah, AMD, you're moving mad. In the January market as well, not even in the summer tea. You're moving mad. You're moving mad. You know what?
To
5-1 will do that to you. A 5-1 victory will do that to you. It will do that to you. Make you move mad.
Welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily. I have nothing for you today. My name is Robbie. That's what you took the day off.
That's a mad. He wasted the day off, man. He wasted the day off. But yeah, we do need to do that. So let people know they can find you, man.
At the Midget Zimbo on Twitter. On X, on Instagram, on TikTok. That's where
warning sign with his TikTok. See, sometimes I answer some mad stuff. Mad stuff, some crazy
TikTok. TikTok, I've shifted gears from because you guys weren't watching the football thing. So I'm doing a little bit of football, but more lifestyle-y, stupid stuff. I let it fly on TikTok. It's character. It's a character. That ain't me in real life, but that's a character.
Just follow with caution in it. Make sure you're supporting the TIG and following all the socials. But TikTok in particular, please caution people, because you know how TikTok's a bit in your face. You're just like, because obviously we follow each other. It's a friends thing. It just comes out randomly. When I saw the caption, I just hit the like button. Normally I watched them. I was like, yeah, I am not involved in that one, bro. Like, one love for that, innit? Can we get a transfer review when you sign no one? Hey, Durag Diaries, fuck off. Come get your points back, pussy, man. Now you want this? Come get your points back. Like, I wish we was playing Spurs and beef to tell you, know. Like, you're lucky. You're lucky. How dare you after Pedro Puro's just turned up? You wanted a reaction. Can we get a transfer review on what this guy called Batty is all about, bro? Like, you wanted a reaction. Bro, make sure you're following Durag Diaries and Hooks and Zar. Hopefully, just to shut this Spurs twat up here. Hopefully, we sign someone, man. But it's the hope that kills in life. But at Zar, one love for tuning in. Everyone else, one love for being here.
Always got time for you, my bro.
Hopefully, we turn it around against Newcastle, innit? But for now, people, we're out.
Until next time.
Come on.
Against this right back, Charlie. Definitely.